Tonight on LoOG Center, Tom and I sift through the wreckage of Week 8 and try to find the survivors. We break yet another huge announcement, and this one might be the biggest yet. And finally, old friend Jay Whitty stops by with some tips for surviving your bye weeks, only on LoOG Center.
Good evening, and welcome to LoOG Center. As always, I'm your commissioner, Thomas Offen.
And I'm your defending champion, Jeff Fribbins, filling in for Faith Richardson, who's making babies.
Good luck with that. All right, so before we get to the Blitz tonight, we have a special announcement. Jeff, why don't you give us the details?
Thanks, Tom. Being election season, we've decided to bring democracy to the LoOG. This year, more than any previously, the league has been fractured into the haves and the have-nots. And in the interests of fairness, we've decided to award a second title, the People's title, the People's Champion, voted on by you. Over the coming weeks, we'll find out who the contenders are and who among us will hoist the trophy of the People's Champion.
That's very exciting. I think that gives a lot of hope to people who have found out they're stuck in the basement. Us!
Yeah.
All right, so without further ado, it's time for
the Blitz. Up first, Chubby Funster taking on the Slobberknockers, and he had all-day Adrian Peterson coming through in a big way, and a rare Larry Fitzgerald sighting, and Tom's main man, Danny Carpenter, the kicker, with 19 fantasy points, helping him to the 95-74 victory over the Slobberknockers.
It's an empty victory, but I'll take it nonetheless. Next up, the Pink Flesh Hammer taking on the Stepdads. And this one was a squeaker. Stepdads win 85-83. The law firm of Ben Jarvis Green Ellis pitching in with 26 fantasy points. But it's not enough as the Stepdads pull ahead. And, you know, I have a feeling that the Ebony Flesh Hammer would not have come up short.
All right, next we saw the Sugar Hill Gang take on Plain Nasty, and Plain Nasty pulled it out, 72-55. Big week from the Oakland defense, 8 sacks for them. 8, Tom. 8. And Snorton Kyle Orton had a big day, 18 fantasy points, 369 yards passing, and a touchdown.
Next up, Team Evil overtaking Ray Finkel's boys, 77-42. Ray Finkel's boys putting up the lowest weekly total so far this year with a mere 42 points. Yeesh.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Tom. It's embarrassing.
Slightly. I expect big things from Ray Finkel's boys next week.
All right. Next game, Touchdown Jesus taking on the Gothenburg Vikings, and despite a season-best output from Steve Breston, Jesus can't solve the riddle of the Vikings. On the Vikings side, Mike Sims Walker, Texas Ranger, had a great game, 23 fantasy points, contributing for the 87-60 victory.
Next up, another squeaker. Team Jacob pulling it out by 1 point, 65-64 over Prestige Worldwide.
Remember, you always want to pull that.
That's true. Peyton Manning pitching in with 18 points, and we need to talk about Randy Moss. But before we do, it's time for the League of Ordinary Gentlemen Theater. Ready?
Sure.
Here we go. You know, I really like the Patriots. They're like the best team ever. These cashews are terrible. I wouldn't feed these to my cat who's sitting over there watching us tape LoOG Center. Oh man, let's try these chips here.
Pringles?
Get those out of there. Mint Milano's. Boo, boo, I'm Randy Moss. Wah, wah. And scene.
It's a hard act to follow. Next, the Cock Ringos taking on the F-Bombers. Really, what needs to be said here? Another pounding delivered by the big, thick Cock Ringos. 126-70.
Yeah, not going to get any complaints about that one. By the way, Cock Ringo is the only team in triple points this week.
Woo!
So they're large and in charge. And in this week's Game of the Week, the Smithfield Slugs took on Responsible Lobster. Last week, I predicted that the Smithfield Slugs would lose by 50 points, owing to the fact that 9 of their players had a bye week last week.
Looked like a lock.
It looked like a lock. Unfortunately, for me at least, he was able to overcome that and win 95-43. Responsible Lobster, now with the second lowest point total, right behind Ray Finkel's boys on the season.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Kudos to at least scoring enough points to beat one person this week, Lobster. Unfortunately, that person had to score a season low in order for you to get that hypothetical win. Lobster is horrible. Well, at least this week was horrible.
Congratulations to the Slugs. Brandon Lloyd, 24 points. Green Bay with 23 points, shutting down the New York Jets.
Brandon Lloyd sighting. I don't even know who he plays for. Looking at the Week 8 standings and Charles in charge, the Gothenburg Vikings are in charge at 6-1-1, followed by the Smithfield Slugs.
In the Saved by the Bell division, the Cock Ringos still firmly in first place with a 7-1 record, 844 points for them so far on the season.
Going to the Game of the Week standings, Team Evil, led by Joel Ryan, still undefeated along with the Smithfield Slugs.
All right, I'm going to cover the Week 8 top performers, even though we usually cut this segment for time. So, in this week's top stories, we have an exciting new segment called Witty's Playbook. As we saw this week, there were a lot of teams that lost due to bye weeks. Yeah. So this week, Witty's going to give us some tips on how to survive your bye weeks.
Thanks, Jeff and Tom, and welcome to Witty's Playbook. In this episode, we'll be talking about getting through the bye weeks. You know, there's a lot of parity in the league this year, and every win counts. So when your stud's on a bye...
LoOG Center, like when they were broken up.
Kimchi, what?
Move, get up.
I have a message for you, Jeff. I thought we had something really special, and for me to find out on LoOG Center that we're broken up, you need a man up. It's alright, I don't date losers anyhow. And since I hear about a pink hammer, more like a second belly button, I'm out of here.
Back to you guys.
And that was Witty's Playbook, featuring former LoOG personality Kimchi Lee, surprisingly enough.
I think she's handling it well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so hey, anytime you can land on your feet with an albino Swedish dwarf, you're coming out a winner. So no hard feelings, Kimchi, and thank you again for the lovely tie.
And now it's time for our Week 9 picks, brought to you by Mint Milanos.
Mint Milanos.
They're actually pretty good.
They're real good. Let's take a look at the standings on the season. We'll go from the bottom up. Joel Ryan going 4-4 last week to put his overall record at 16-16. Welcome to the 500 level, Joel. Tomas went 5-3 last week. 36-28 for the season. Winning percentage of a .562. And I also went 5-3 because Tom and I once again had identical picks.
Great minds think alike.
Yes.
Or just like me.
Yeah. And I'm 35-21 on the season with the winning percentage of .625.
Okay, so let's get to our first matchup. Sugar Hill Gang taking on the Smithfield Slugs. Who you like?
Hide your dogs. Vic is back, and he's going to help out the Slugs in this one. I'm liking the Slugs.
All right, I also like the Slugs. So far, we match exactly.
Great minds. All right, next game, Plain Nasty taking on Touchdown Jesus.
I'm taking Touchdown Jesus in the upset here. I think they're going to break their 2-game losing streak. Another miracle, baby. Touchdown Jesus all the way.
Yeah, Plain Nasty needs to make some subs, or we're going to see the second coming. Jesus gets his second win.
Oh, all right. Next up, Slobberknockers taking on the Cockringos. Who you like?
The computers are projecting 109 points for the Cock Ringos this week, and I'm going to take the over. Huge cock from the games this week. I mean, game from the Cocks. Game from the Cocks.
Ringos.
So, Ringos.
I also like the Cock Ringos. It seems I say that every week.
It seems you do. All right, next game. Prestige Worldwide taking on the Responsible Lobster. How do you see it going down?
I like Peyton Manning taking on the Philly defense. I'm taking Prestige Worldwide in another upset. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Actual shock on my face. Prestige Worldwide, as we've mentioned before, seems to play juggernaut after juggernaut this year. Good matchups, not good enough.
Oh.
I'm going to take the Lobster.
Oh, we differ. I see how it is. Next up, Team Evil taking on the F Bombers. Who you like?
The Bombers might get doubled up in this game, and not in the good way either. Team Evil, big time.
I also like Team Evil.
All right. Gothenburg Vikings from Gothenburg taking on Team Jacob from California, I believe.
Yes.
Who do you like?
I like the Vikings.
Yeah. Yeah, good matchups for the Berg this week, and no full moon for Jacob, sadly. No Bella either.
Oh, Bella!
Gothenburg Vikings, I like them big.
All right. And Ray Finkel's boys, 4-4, looking to turn things around against the Stepdads, will they?
Finkel is in a full-blown free fall right now, and he doesn't have a shoot. The Stepdads are going to win this one in a big way.
Yeah, I also like Ray. Oh, sorry, Stepdads. I like the Stepdads. I had a Terry Bradshaw moment there. Stepdads.
Bring him back. Bring him back.
Tom Brady, Brandon Tate versus the Cleveland defense. Wait a second. You know what that means? Double dip alert, baby! Double dip. Double dip.
Oh, that's it. And finally, our game of the week.
Bum, bum, bum.
A matchup of biblical proportions. David versus Goliath. Jesus versus evil Jesus. Chubby Funster versus the Pink Flesh Hammer.
Which I think is in Exodus.
Jesus versus evil Jesus. Yeah, it's this one's a big one, and the people have been clamoring for this matchup. Waited all season to get tickets for this game. How do you think it's going to go down?
Well, how do you think it's going to go down? I'm going to kick your ass. I'm sorry to say, Chubby Funster will give no quarter to the Pink Flesh Hammer. It's going to be my most enthusiastic win, and by the largest margin of victory this year, I think.
That I couldn't agree less with. You've had a good run. I won't deny that. You've compiled an astounding 2 wins this season, which has doubled my total. But the Pink Flesh Hammer is feeling strong.
Oh boy.
And
I see where this is going.
I'm just saying it's feeling strong.
Oh, okay.
Full of vigor. And the Flesh Hammer is going to lay it to you.
Oh, fantastic.
And that's how I see that going down. And remember, the safety word is banana.
Okay. Well, why don't you put your money where your mouth is? I will bet you this mostly eaten tube of Pringles that I'm going to kick your ass.
All right.
What do you got? I think you know what I want.
You want the tie from Kimchi Lee?
Yes.
Fine.
I know it has high sentimental value. It's mine. The tie will be mine.
I agree to your terms, sir. There you have it. If I lose, the tie, Kimchi's tie, goes to Tom. And if he loses, I get... How many are left in there? Like 3?
I don't know. They're kind of wedged in there.
Oh, perfect. I get that.
So, that's it. That's our Week 9 picks. As always, I am your commissioner, Thomas Offen.
And I am your defending champion and soon-to-be people's champion, Jeff Ribbons.
Good night and good luck.